right. I'm Kathleen Walker, and this is Andy Shirting, and we're here for the CETA Summit athlete meeting. Of course, we're from New England Endurance Events. Andy, would you like to get started? I feel like I always jump right in, and poor Andy doesn't get to say anything for a while.
No, welcome all. Thank you for joining. I even see that at least one person is driving as he's on the Zoom, so that's pretty cool.
That's it. Just pay attention to the road. Only listen to us.
Yeah, well, this will be recorded, or it's being recorded, and we will put a link on the Athletes Guide, as well as on our Facebook page, as well as on our YouTube channel, et cetera, et cetera. So if you need to refer to something, please go back and look at it. If you know of a racer who wasn't able to be here tonight, or a porter, please ask them to take a look at the video. That's a nice picture.
I know, that's a nice picture of Brett. Okay,
go ahead.
So yeah, so good. So we'll put it all up, but it usually takes me till like tomorrow by noon before that gets up. So please don't send me an email at 10 tomorrow morning saying, where's the athletes meeting? It'll take just a little bit of time.
Oh, and we will do Q&A. We'll answer every question. And the best way of handling it is to go to the chat box, right?
Right. If you'll put it in the chat box, and then as we can, we'll go ahead and answer those, usually in between sections. And I'm also going to stick in the chat box right now while I'm thinking about it, the race details page. So so you all will have that. There you go. So it's right there for everybody. And then the other one, which will be mentioned in a little bit, is if you have not registered your porter, or your porter is not registered themselves, then please do so. And that's that Haku, make sure that's what it says. Yes, the Events at Haku link is for you to give to your porter. Your porter needs to sign a waiver. We need some basic info, and especially name and cell phone number. And that way we don't have to get that information on Friday evening. It will speed up the packet pickup. So that would be much appreciated. All right. So speaking of packet pickup, let's just start there. Friday packet pickup is from 4 to 6, and that's at the Spring Hill Lodge. If you need that address, go to the first link I just put into chat, and you should have an address right there. All right. Sorry, just letting in a few more people. You will be able to swim the pond beforehand. I think you can even do it on Friday, although it will just be the pilot buoys out, right?
During the afternoon on Friday, we'll be putting out the small orange buoys, and then on Saturday morning, very early, the large orange, and we think
we do the yellow. Yeah, I'll change
okay.
all the swim caps. It's okay.
And quick on that, on the swim courses, the plan is currently to use orange buoys for sighting as you go straight, and yellow triangular buoys. They're quite large. They're 9 feet tall for turning. And we will look at the pond this week. If the water level is low, there's a possibility we might have to make it 2 loops, but we 2 years ago, when we did have to go to the backup swim location, we kept it at 1 loop, and we'll see what happens this year. So
right,
we'll keep you updated.
Right. Well, also Wednesday afternoon, of course, we'll check the water levels, we'll check the water temperature, and then we'll do the water quality as well. So we'll make sure that we post the water temperature, and if there's any change to the course itself, as in 2 loops, or water quality, which we don't expect to be an issue whatsoever, of course we'll let you know that as well through social media, and in the Athletes Guide, we'll put it in there.
Yep, and if you scroll through this your screen of the participants in the Zoom meeting, you'll see Scott Brown. He's our swim coordinator, and he's going to be setting up the course. He'll be hanging out around that pond a lot, and be able to answer a lot of your questions. Scott, by the way, was the first non-pro finisher at CETA Summit in 2018. I think
2018. Yep.
2018. Yeah. So he is a great resource for you. All right, so Saturday morning. Do you want to show that?
Sure.
No, okay, so Saturday morning, please do not come to the venue until 4:20. That gives us a chance to get there and finish getting everything set up for you. So Andy's going to share the screen. This is the parking lot for Spring Hill. The guide. So behind us, behind this photo is down the hill. Is you'll go down the hill to the swim start, and we'll show you that in just a minute. And I think we had decided we're going to, oh, there, wait, back it up for a sec. Back it up. Okay. So, so with this, we are going to have the transition area is going to be, sorry, I should have checked my screen beforehand. You see us big and,
All right, so you got to share.
and this.
Go ahead, you share your photo.
Okay, so I'll share my photo. That will be better for me. All right, so for the swim start, so the picture that Angie was just showing you was this parking lot over here. Transition will be over on the head of this parking lot. There's a hill right there, which is often used for like weddings, things like that. Porters, you can hang out right here if you wish. It's a good view of the pond without having to go all the way down the hill. So this is just all downhill. This is another spot. Porters can hang out and they can see the entire swim. Of course, this swim course is right over here to the right. And then athletes will either be here or they'll be along the side. I think in 2019, we had them more on the, or excuse me, 2020, we had them over to the side here. Either way, porters, please give the athletes lots of room. You know, just better to kind of give them some space, better for them and better for germs. The athletes, once you run back up the hill from the swim, you'll get in transition and then you can leave from there. And I think, Andy, you're going to talk about that a little bit more. Is that on my list? But so Andy will cover that in just a minute. All parking, there'll be parking here for porters. There's also parking along the side over here. The one of the things, this isn't a neighborhood. It's a really neat venue, but it is in a neighborhood. So when you all come into Spring Hill on Saturday morning, considering it's like 4:20 in the morning, if you guys can be mindful of houses and people sleeping in the area, and if you can do that same thing when you go to leave, once your athlete has now ridden off into the the Blue Yonder, and you are going to be following them at some point. You don't need to rush. You're in a car, they're in a bike, you'll get there. Just go slowly through the neighborhood, just that way you're not causing any kind of noise for the neighbors. That would be really appreciated. All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about the bike racks, bike numbers and all that stuff. You okay with that?
It's all in your section.
I know, but I felt like you had more to say. Okay. Hang on just a sec. Let's go back. Let's get out of that share. There we go. All right. So we talked about being quiet. You will receive in your packet Friday, which is for the most part mandatory. Please come Friday night. Do not come to pick up your packet on Saturday morning. It will work much better for all if you do Friday night. If for some reason you have something, it would be impossible for you to get there Friday night, please let me know or let Lori know. That's LORI@meevents.com. So that way we can set a packet aside for you. In your race packet, you will have your bib, bike number, helmet number, and now we have tri-tats this year. If you wouldn't mind doing your tri-tats the night before, do it in your hotel room, or if you're lucky enough to live close, rather than doing them, putting them on race morning. That just becomes kind of difficult for us and for you when you do a race morning. Bike lights are mandatory. So on the back of your bike, if you don't already have a bike light, we have bike lights for you. So we're happy to give you one. Of course, it's yours to keep. It's just make sure that is on before you go down to the swim. You certainly won't remember it when you come back up.
Excuse me, I'm really sorry to bother you, but there's people in the waiting room trying to get in. If you wouldn't mind letting them in.
Actually, I don't see anyone in the waiting room right now. I'd already let in a bunch. Oh, except for that one. Let's see. Come on in, Bobby. Okay.
Sorry, so sorry.
That's okay. Is there anybody else that we're missing? Because I don't see them. Nope. Okay.
I don't have anyone else waiting right now.
No, I don't either. Okay. I'm going to mute everybody. Thank you. Thanks for telling me. All right. There we go. All right. We're back. Bike lights we talked about. We've got them if you need them. Bike racks. We can fit 6 people per rack. I think we should have plenty, so you shouldn't have an issue with that. Please check in first before you put your bike in the transition area. Just let us know that you're here, so that way you'll be all set. Sometimes the night before a race, I think our last race, we had 2 different people that came to pack a pickup the night before, and they weren't able to do race morning for various reasons. And so if you can let us know, that would be really helpful.
And obviously, it would be nice, more than nice, for us to know how many people started the race, so that we
Yes.
can count.
Because we are counting. Yes, we are worried about you. We want to make sure that you get to Wildcat safely. Okay, so swim. Do you want to? We have it's
Mass start
right. Yep, but the start time. No,
5:15.
is it? I thought somewhere we said 5:30.
We did 5:30 one year when we held the race in late July. And as you know, we start losing daylight as we go further along.
Right.
But
Okay.
the schedule on the athlete's guide has been 5:15.
That's all right. Just wanted to check. All right. Didn't want any confusion. So 5:15 start. Please don't get there before 4:20. And then swim start. It's going to be a mass start. You all will start in the water. Everyone at one time, there's right 75, 80 of you guys, so it won't be too difficult. We have a lot of swim safety personnel on the water, so you guys will be all set with that.
Good.
Anything else? Your turn.
All right. So let's talk about the bike.
Oops.
As you've already gathered, this is an unusual race. There are no bike route signs. You can choose your own course. Yes, many athletes will choose a particular course, and we put that most followed course route in the athlete's guide. We have a little bit of a twist this year because we are using the backup swim. We're not comfortable with the water quality readings that have been in the Salmon Falls River. And just as an aside, we're working on something we're very excited about for next year as far as the swim at the coast of Maine. And we should be able to announce soon.
Yeah,
we should be able to announce soon on that. I'm going to share done it again. All right, I'm going to share a the early miles. I'm going to share a map that shows the early miles of the race, of what we would suggest, especially for those who have done Sea to Summit before and sort of have a route already set in their minds as to what they like to do. So let me share this screen, and here we go. Okay.
All right.
What we have here is that green area in the far right is Spring Hill, and the Knights Pond, which is the name of the pond where Spring Hill is. You'll be making a right out of the parking lot, and you will follow along a rural residential road until you get to Route 4. We will have a staffer stationed at Route 4. We don't get to stop traffic, or there won't be a police detail, but that staffer is there to just warn you that this is one of the more it could be a sketchy crossing. Cars are going at a good speed there. Obviously, this early in the morning, there's probably not going to be any, but you never know when some guy's trucking along. So you'll be making a left turn onto Route 4. Now, you could take Route 4 down into South Berwick and then take 236 out of town, heading toward North Berwick and Rochester and crossing into New Hampshire. But what we suggest is you're on Route 4 for 100 yards, 150 yards, and you make a right turn. Unfortunately, I don't have a big enough.
There you go.
Okay, so we can show this here. You'll make a right turn. The names of these streets are in the athlete's guide because I don't have them memorized, and I can't quite see through the blue line. But you will follow this down. You can see around the 3 mile mark, you're making a left turn, and you're coming over and you're connecting with the course that this race has had for many years on 236. And when you connect with 236, you're in Berwick, and you're going to cross Route 9 and make a left and go around the town hall and up and out. It's not a bad area of Berwick to take a peek at if you are going to be in the area. Well, hopefully you are, the day before the race. And many of you I know have already scouted that out. The bike in general is quiet. The speed limits range between 35 and 45 for the vehicles. There is one short stretch that's 50 and but it's a very wide shoulder. So we feel comfortable about it, and it's worked out well. We will scout the entire most commonly followed bike route on Thursday, and we will email anything that's important, and we'll also put it in the athlete's guide and on the Facebook page. We noticed a bunch of things a few weeks ago when we were up there. There was a convenience store where all the porters like to stop and get a little coffee and wait for their athlete to arrive, and that convenience store is closed for renovations. We put that in the athlete's guide. And we also put in the athlete's guide wherever we saw some bumpier than normal road surfaces after the winter frost heaves. We'll have drafting marshals on the course. The penalties are Ironman level, and the race has been, I think the nature of the race has been that there hasn't been a lot of drafting overall. One year though, it really got draft heavy, and we assessed a lot of penalties that year. So we're capable of doing it if we have to, but you know, the nature of this race is this is your personal achievement, and I don't think you want to be second wheel and then have that in the back of your mind when you complete the race. We have two restrictions on where you can ride your bike. You cannot be on Route 16 below North Conway. That's an area where actually if you're on it, you're probably going to get stopped by a cop anyway. But that's 55 mile an hour traffic. You do not want to be on there. We don't want you on there.
And we actually have staff members that will be on Route 16 to make sure you're not there.
Yeah, and a good friend of ours owns a gas station on Route 16. He's going to keep an eye out too. There'll be no riding on Route 4 North. I think I might have mentioned that earlier, because there is a stretch of Route 4 that's 55 miles an hour, and there's not enough of a shoulder for it to be safe. So we're calling that off limits. Route 4 wouldn't normally be the way you'd want to head out there, but some people may have noticed that, gee, you know, with this new swim area or new pond where the swim is, I might be able to do better on Route 4. No, please stay away from that. And that's pretty much the bike route. We'll talk in a bit about what to do when you get to Wildcat on your bike. But we're going to talk briefly about the porters. Porters, your essential part of the race, and we need your help. Your encouragement is wonderful, but we also need you to pay attention to a few details. One is when your athlete finishes the swim, the temptation is to jump in the car and tear out of there. Please look at our staff, take their cues as to when you can leave. Leave slowly. At some point, you'll be on a road and you'll be able to pick up speed and you'll pass your athlete and you can leapfrog ahead. And find a spot where you wait for it. Perhaps it's predetermined. Many of the athletes do that. But sometimes, you can say, no, I'm just going to stop here and watch them go by. You cannot ride alongside your cyclists. You can't ride behind your cyclists for any extended period of time. There's no passing anything at all from a moving car to a cyclist or vice versa. That's actually a disqualification penalty. If you're parked on the side of the road, your cyclist stops and you want to say, okay, here, give me your water bottle. Here's a fresh water bottle. Here, you need some goo, you need some gel, you need some blocks. Here you go. That's kind of the limit of it. On the hike, we want to talk to the porters about something that the race has allowed. And many athletes find it a wonderful part of the experience, which is your porter or another support person could go up the mountain with you. Now, they're going to have to sign a waiver. It's in your interest if they're fit and in good condition. If you will want to think about how the two of you will get down the mountain, whether you have someone to pick you up. Yes, there is a shuttle service that the state of New Hampshire has going down the mountain, up and down the mountain. But those vans fill up, particularly on a weekend day, and you could be out of luck. So it's better for you to have made arrangements to get down the mountain. If your porter or a support person goes with you on the hike, you have to carry your pack the entire way. And you and your porter must finish together. There is an exception to that. If you get halfway up the mountain, up to Hermit Lake Lodge, the Adirondack shelter up there, you can tell Deb and Darlene, our two staff members there, they'll be wearing Sea to Summit t-shirts.
See the summit, or it will say
Or staff t-shirts. You can announce to them that, hey, Porter just came up to me this far. I'm going to go push on up the head wall myself. Your porter then must turn around and go down.
So we don't want to lose any porters on the mountain. So that is really important.
Yeah. We have staff on the mountain, and one of my biggest fears, in addition to your safety, is that our staff stay safe as well, especially because daylight fades really early on that side. The sun's setting on the other side of the mountain. So we have to be careful. T2 is yours.
Okay. Oh, are you ready? Okay, no problem. So with porters on the mountain, I think that in the past, some of you have been with us for a number of years. Thank you. Some of the porters have been carrying the athlete's backpack, and now that we're aware of that happening, that's where Andy had said you have to carry your own pack. You can't use your porter like a Sherpa. Some of you have been with us since the Sherpa days. You have to carry your own pack. That's the only thing that's fair. All right, so T2. So you all have now in the race details page a list of everything that is mandatory in your backpack. Those are mandatory, everything in there. If you have to have a light, and you have to have spare batteries. If you have a reusable battery in there and you say, well, but I've already charged it, you still need to have either another reusable battery or other batteries. You have to have a backup plan. That is probably the most, I say batteries, because 9 times out of 10, if someone doesn't have something in the pack, it's the extra set of batteries. So please make sure you do have that. Nutrition, the nutrition that I'm looking for, and I will be there, is solid. You can have whatever calories that you want in your, for your drink, but nutrition, what I'm looking for is I'm reading the label and I'm looking for, calories within each, whether it's blocks or what have you. So, so if you don't have that required amount, I have things that you might not like. I've got like blocks and goo and things like that. I'm going to throw some of that in your pack to make sure that I know that you've got enough nutrition to get up to the top. And medical check. We do have Dr. Heidi that's going to be with us this year, and she will be checking you. She usually dilated eyes and clammy hands and her different checks. If she says, you know what, you need to wait a little bit before going up, then that's what you do. We have so far never had anyone where we said your race is done. It's usually, hey, hang out, drink a little more, eat a little more, give it some time, and then you can go up. But her word is the rule. So I'm going to share with you the Wildcat here, kind of talking abstractly about Wildcat. So I will show it to you instead. Oh, I will not show you that one. Hold on a minute. That is the swim start. Let's try the right one. Why is it? Are you guys seeing the?
No, go
What
ahead
do you
and
see?
scroll it up.
Oh, there we are. Oh, there we are. You guys see it now? There we go. Perfect. Okay. So this is Wildcat Lodge. That's right over here to the right. This is Route 16. You'll be coming up this way, hopefully over on the shoulder, and you'll go down into the driveway. We will have people here, probably people here as well. This year, which is different than last year, we'd like all porters to park over here on the right. Usually you guys are over on the left. But let's put you over here, giving some room for our tent, which is actually not quite that big. But if you give some room for the tent and the porters are here, when you're coming in on your bike, come all the way down, find your porter who's usually yelling at you and waving hands, go to your car, do whatever you need to, and then run up to the tent in this way. You'll then be able to exit and go towards Pinkham Notch at that time. If we can keep everyone over here, I think we'll avoid some of that crossover that normally happens. Okay, if you have a porter that's going with you, the porter needs to come to the check-in tent. Actually, start me back up a little bit. Porter needs to come to the check-in tent with your pack, no matter what. That needs to happen at least 10 minutes before they expect you there, because sometimes there's a line. So you'll want to tell your porter as soon as they get over to Wildcat, making sure that there's plenty of time before you arrive. Then we'll go through bring the pack to me. We'll go through that pack, or Dawn. We'll go through that, make sure you've got everything you need so that you'll be safe on the mountain. We'll give it back to them and then you'll get it. If your porter is also climbing the mountain with you, or maybe it's sometimes we have a porter and then there's some friends and one or more of the friends want to go up too, that's great. But we need to be able to see their pack as well. We just want to make sure everyone we're sending out on the mountain is safe. So if it's a person that is not a porter that is going up with you, then we need them to sign a separate waiver, just saying that, that everything is good. Anything else with porters that I've forgotten for T2?
I think you got
Okay. All right. Can I do one more thing?
Sure.
Okay. So while we're right here in Wildcat, when you come from the auto road, once you've climbed the mountain, you've summited and your porter is bringing you back, you're going to be coming down this road right here and turning into Wildcat. Please be mindful of, if you're one of the earlier finishers, please be mindful there's probably still some athletes that are coming in. And then this is where the turkey dinner and the award ceremony will be happening inside. There's a door to the front right over here. So just come on in. And if you have porters and athletes, of course, eat free. That's part of your registration fee. If there are others and you need to purchase a meal, you can do that inside. You'll see that there's a tent there. If you can, or excuse me, a table there. If you could bring cash, that would be easy. I think we'll probably have Venmo as well, but cash is always king. All right. Anything else? How are you doing, Andy?
Okay.
Good.
All right. So now my turn to share
Oh,
screen.
Sorry, can I? Sorry, one more thing. So, so I think that Andy had mentioned, I believe earlier, that deadlines are deadlines. So if you get to T2, or you get to the tent is where your time is taken, not when you pull in the driveway. So if you get to the tent 1 minute or 30 seconds after the cutoff, you will not be going to the top. So so please keep that in mind. Deadline is a deadline. So so please make sure that you're there before, or just understand that when we say sorry you didn't make the cutoff, that you know that your race is now done. Okay, your turn.
Yeah, we do have time limits at multiple stages. They're posted in the athlete's guide. And it's rare that we allow quite a bit of time to complete this race. And so even if you have a mechanical or a GI issues or whatever, you know, just relax. You know, you've got time. You should be fine.
Oh, sorry.
You
So-
have more.
I was just, you're saying GI issues, and that reminded me, Wildcat, the building is open, so there's like real bathrooms there. So that would, and there'll be porta potties at Spring Hill in the morning. So that's a pretty important thing, right? You want to know. Okay, now I'm done. It's Andy's turn. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Well, there are convenience stores and McDonald's on the
Very
way
much so,
too, with
yeah.
real bathrooms. Pinkham Notch, the AMC hut there has bathrooms. Halfway up the mountain, there's some halfway decent bathrooms there with real running water. And at the very top, it's a visitor center up there, and you'd be set. So, however, there are the woods.
For some of you.
So, talking about the run now, we talk about the run. I'm going to show I'm going to do some show and tell here. Okay, so on the right side is the start of the run. The run is in red. On the left side is the top of Mount Washington. I believe this map is on the website, if not the athlete's guide. When you leave Wildcat, you can start running in the direction that you came when you were on the bike for a short distance. I think it's exactly 1 kilometer actually. And it won't be completely downhill, oddity of that part of the course. So there'll be a little bit of uphill and then a little bit of downhill. What you want to be looking for is a safe opportunity to cross the road and get on the other side. And I mean, if you want, you can wait till you get to Pinkham Notch and cross there. And I'll show you a photo of Pinkham Notch. Actually, before I show the photo of
You have to redo your share.
Pinkham, I'm going to show this aerial. The Wildcat ski area obviously is on your right side. And you are approaching on your bike from the left side along 16 on the right side. Very wide shoulder there. And you'll come up to Wildcat. You'll enter into Wildcat. We'll be shouting and waving at you because believe it or not, every year there's a couple of people who just kind of keep chugging past the entrance because they're in such a fog, in such a zone at that moment. So in the upper right hand is the Wildcat parking lot. It's a dirt parking lot. We do want to caution you that you are making a transition from pavement to gravel and dirt mix to almost like all dirt in the parking lot. So we suggest you don't do it fast. You don't turn your wheel very tightly, and you decelerate and ease your way in. We don't want, we're going to be brooming and we're going to be blowing the best we can, but it's a big parking lot with a lot of dirt. So please be careful. When you run out, you're running back down, so you can see that. And you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, the Appalachian Mountain Club Pinkham Notch Visitor Center, where you will be finding your way to Tuckerman to the Tuckerman Ravine Trail, which is the major trail there, and it's well marked. I'm going to show and tell one last thing here, which is it's not showing up.
Let's go out and go back in.
Okay, so I'll go. All right. Bear with me. Here we go. This is what Pinkham Notch Visitor Center looks like.
Sorry, I don't know why your screen keeps doing that. There you go.
Okay. And that larger building that you see is the visitor center. It's a huge parking lot. You'll see the parking lot well before you get to the entrance to the visitor center. You can cross over to the parking lot at any time, even before you get to this point. You just can't head off in the woods until you get to the proper visitor center. We're going to have a staffer there too, who's going to try to check everyone in and make sure you're set. Please be careful crossing the road. I did not know this until I took this screenshot this afternoon, but you can see the little cross in the right-hand corner. There's not a ton of traffic here, but they're going 55, sometimes 60 miles an hour. So you just need to be careful. All right. Tuckerman's Trail, it's a fluid situation on the mountain. Rainstorms, construction work on bridges can always change things. Tuckerman's Trail, at least of a few weeks ago, was completely open, no issues. It was, I think, 2 years ago, Tuckerman's opened up a week and a half before the race. That is in July, because of the snow melt had not completely passed away at that time. So it's serious stuff up there, as you know, especially when you get up above the tree line. We have staff on the lower slopes. We have staff at midpoint, upper slopes. We'll have Scott, actually this year, drew the short straw, and he'll be at the top of Tuckerman Ravine, a location known as Five Fingers to hikers and some of you who might know the mountain a little bit. And Scott will be there. I've mentioned before, if you're running with your porter, you both must finish together unless the porter drops out at Hermit Lake and tells our staff such. At some point, you're finally going to leave the rocks and the little patches of grass that are around them, and you're going to get to the state park. The mountain's federal land. We have a permit there. The top of the mountain is a state park. We have our permit there. When you hit the parking lot, I'm in the park, and it can be a little disconcerting because you'll see kids running, you'll see some old guy pushing a walker. I mean, it's like, how did this happen? Because I was just, climbing on all fours, and here I am. So you'll see there's 3 tiers of parking lots at the top of the mountain. So you'll hit one parking lot, you'll see stairs, climb those stairs. You hit another parking lot, more stairs, climb those stairs, get to the upper one. We'll have a staffer at the first parking lot, but there's going to be a lot of people, and you may miss them or they may miss you. When you get to the very top, the peak of Mount Washington is very popular among the day trippers who go up there. Many of them will stand in line and wait so they can get a picture as they stand at the very, very top, at the very summit. And there's a sign that says the 6,000 and whatever feet it is. And we've, in the past, up to a couple of years ago, the race has always been one where the athlete gets his time recorded and his place recorded when he touches the rock pile, the prayer rock pile at the top of Mount Washington. What I noticed the last few years was that for 19 of those, every 20 athletes who did that, no problem, they touch it. The people maybe waiting in line would applaud and cheer them on as they came in there. But there's always that guy or that woman. And so we've had situations where, you know, some of these visitors, they came up on the railway and they've waited in line, and then here's this racer who just goes right by them and touches the top. So I want you to know that I'm going to be about, I would say about 10 vertical feet below the summit. And I will be there with my clipboard, table, your finishing medal. When you hit me, your time is recorded, your place is recorded. And then if you'd like to get up to the very top, we'll have our race photographer there. You might have loved ones on the top of the island who want to get a picture of you on the top. Please go ahead. But we've decided, even though the rangers tell us, well, it's okay, you can send them to the top. We just don't want the hassle. And I don't think you do either. You know, this is a momentous accomplishment. You don't want some person yelling at you. So that's the reason why we do that now. And that, oh, the last thing I wanted to say has to do with thunderstorms. It's our, I would say it's one of our biggest concerns. Thunderstorms are kind of frequent in this part of the of New England. We have had once when we've been there, maybe a couple of times before we took over the race, the swim had to be canceled because of thunderstorms that were coming through at the time. And we can only wait so long before we can start the race because obviously you've got a full day ahead of you. The threat of thunderstorms has, I think, once negated the ability for us to finish the race at the top of the mountain. And we had to announce an alternative route below the tree line to keep that safe. We'll see what it brings. Weather forecast, long-term weather forecast is looking good. At least I don't think we'll have what we also fear, which is the 40-degree temperatures and 40-mile-an-hour winds at the top, which have also happened, and we've had to make different arrangements for that. So on the thunderstorms, I put in the athlete's guide some guidelines, and actually this afternoon I remembered an article I read years ago about how to be safe in a thunderstorm, and I thought, why not put a link to that? So that's a new item added to the athlete's guide. Which you may want to read that article. It's kind of good knowledge to have. So that's
all right. We've got lots of questions.
That's my last thing. And
all right.
The questions.
Well, let's take a look at that chat. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get a little closer to the screen in order to see what you guys are asking. All right, so we've got the race details there if anyone needs it. We also have the Porter link. Those are the first couple of chat items. The swim is 1.5 miles, but do you see the question there about nights?
Yeah, that was pandemic. we were able to have this race despite the pandemic because New Hampshire and Maine worked with us to do it in a safe manner. But athlete after athlete said to us, you know, I haven't been able to get to a pool and I'm not near any open water and I still want to do this race. So we did reduce the swim that year, but we expect to get back to 1.5 miles this year. We'll make that happen.
Right. The next question is about how do I know if my porter is registered? And I see that Lori is on. So sorry, Lori. Here is Lori's email. Lori@neevents.com. Just check the chat and you can, she can check it for you. So you can just ask her and give her just a little bit of time to give you an answer because she gets lots and lots of requests. All right, let's see where we're at. Yes, Madeline, we will let you know what the water temperature is. Wednesday, it will end up being Wednesday, kind of late in the day because we get up there Wednesday afternoon for
Yeah,
the swim.
if we stick with our timeline, we should have the water temp by 2:30, and then as we're driving to Kennebunkport with the water test for the lab, we'll try to, if we've got cell reception.
Right,
put
which
it
is
out
always
there.
questionable,
Yeah.
but yes. Wetsuit strippers are always welcome. So Paul and Joyce, if you need a stripper and your porter's available, by all means. Let's see.
Do we allow
Miss-
that?
Yeah,
We have allowed
yeah,
that.
because they're
Okay.
gonna do that up in transition anyway. We're on the water. so
Well, if your
we're not
porter
saying it.
doesn't want to strip your wetsuit, then you can give them a hard time. Okay.
But there we go. So mass start in the water. We will not be doing time trial. I think we did time trial in 2020. And again, that was like a COVID thing to try to keep people apart. But in this case, everyone's in the water at the same time. You may not pick up any other packet but your own on Friday. And we need your porter there as well. Actually that question came up earlier in the week about porters. We can't have anyone coming into the race venue after the race has started. So all porters will need to be at the race before the race actually starts. Okay. My screen is frozen. I just want to make sure that
Oh, okay.
everyone wasn't.
Here.
All right. So let's see. So we have other questions.
4 a.m. Transition area. Yes, you can.
4:20. 4:20.
That's awfully short time to get ready.
Oh, that's
for a
what you have
long
in your
race.
notes right here. 4:20.
Athlete guide says 4 a.m.
Well, in that case, it's going to be 4 a.m. I'm going to change my notes here.
Okay.
All right. So 4 a.m. Please don't come before 4 a.m.
I think that
Um,
was at the Salmon Falls River.
Oh, that makes sense.
There was a cranky old lady on the
There was. Yes.
neighboring who.
Okay.
Okay.
Mats in the water. We actually, I think we have had something in the water there. So we do, or is that Salmon Falls that we do that?
Yeah, we can do mats. It's there are freshwater shells from freshwater clams there, which is a little bit of ouch.
Right. So we'll have something on the water at the entrance there. Bikes are not racked the night before, so only race morning. So Mark, no motors on your bike. Sorry. No e-bikes. This is human powered only.
Yeah, and no bicycle that is even adapted for use. We're just waiting for the first athlete at one of our races to say to us, well, yeah, it's got an e-bike capability, but you can see I don't have a battery in it. Well, the problem with that, and we've heard of this at some other races, is that the battery is not in the bike when they enter transition, but the battery winds up in the bike.
Not that
At some
any of
point.
you would do
Not
that. Not you guys.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So my screen's frozen, so you're going to have to look at chat.
All right.
Current water temperature, we don't know that yet. We will know it on Wednesday.
I know it was very pleasant a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
So we'll get that.
Okay. Now it's all you because I can't see mine.
Okay. Yes, I thank you for this note because I did forget to mention it. You are following the rules of the road here. And so it's as if you're on a regular training ride. Red lights, you got stop signs. You got to slow down if no one's around. No, I guess I'm supposed to say.
Whoops, you're supposed to say you're supposed to stop.
But yeah, handle it as you normally would on a ride, because
Yeah.
not have the right of way, and we don't have that police presence that would allow you to blow through an intersection as you could at most of the rest of our races.
Yeah, sorry. The reason I asked that is just because I know at some races that, as you go to hit a stop sign, it's foot down and then you can go if you're taking a right-hand turn. I just wanted to make sure on that one.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, our other race SOS, we sort of have the same situation. where
Right, but-
people have to follow the rules of the road.
The official, the official rule is you have to follow the rules of the road.
Got
So if you choose to put your foot down and go, well, I'm not there. So I'm not going to say anything to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll have to follow your screen because once again, my screen is frozen.
Okay, so yes, a lot of the GPS files and ride with GPS files that we have listed on the athlete's guide are for the normal start, which actually will never be again our start because we're going to
But we're-
switch to the coast.
We're
But
hoping.
thank you for just Scott, who did you send it the route from Spring Hill venue?
Yep, that's the 2020 route from Spring Hill.
Thank you.
Got it. Thanks, Scott. For porters, when they pull off the road, do they need to be off the road to the right of the white line or completely off the road in the grass dirt? They need to be completely off the road. It could be grass dirt. It could be a parking lot for a business, whether it's open at the time or not open at the time. But there's been a couple of times over the years where I've seen cars that stop and gosh, a texting driver is going to hit that car. So yeah, you got to pull off. Please do. I have a porter who can't drive up Mount Washington. Suggestions for arranging transport up and back down. What I don't know if your porter buy a round trip ticket on a shuttle and then go up and then come down with the athlete. I think it's iffy, right? Because once they fill up, they fill up.
Yeah. So I think you're saying you can't drive up Mount Washington. I don't blame your porter because I don't like driving up that either. You can, if you put it in the event, in the Facebook event, in our Facebook event page, and ask, there's probably another porter that wouldn't mind taking your athlete back down, just depending on the timing. So that is one option.
Yeah, and in that post, give your expected finish time, and then maybe someone else who has an athlete with the same similar finish time will be willing to help out there. Do gel flasks count for nutrition? And how do you do that counting? I want to say something about there's a number of athletes these days who get most of their calories from their fluids, and we understand that, and we want you to do what works for you and what you've practiced with and what you've trained with. Our issue is we don't want anyone to be cut short, and I want you to think of this not just from what you need to get to the top of the mountain, but I wish you would think about it from the standpoint of you've reached a point on the mountain, you've sprained your ankle, you try to get going, now I'm not going to make it, and you have to slowly work your way down the mountain. You want to have stuff in your bag. Yeah, keep that in mind. I would over nutrition yourself, even if you don't have it all.
Okay, can I
So you go
comment
ahead.
on the gels?
Yeah.
I need to be able to see how many calories are in that. So, so if you've got a flask full of gel, then, show me the empty container, the empty package that shows how many calories are in that. I will not guess. I will just put something else in your bag to make sure you have enough.
Okay, but gels do count as nutrition for the
Yes,
climb.
gels
If you
do
have
count.
gels, a little packet that has 120 calories, that's fine. Or
That's 100. Yeah, then that's at
Yeah.
least 120 calories.
they still sell the larger ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll announce this and everyone, if you can help, please do. Someone was wondering if anyone's heading back to the Seacoast after the race. And the porter needs to take off in a different direction, so that athlete, Lentz, will pay for gas. So that call has been put out there. Is the water mid-station potable, or do you need a filter?
That's the Hermit Lake Lodge. That's totally drinkable. It's
Yeah.
actually really good. It's-
And if you
Nice and cold.
yes.
if you don't necessarily need to stop at the rest areas at Hermit Lake, you can go an extra, what would you say, Scott, 50, 100 yards. And
Yeah,
there
maybe
is
even-
a
Maybe
pump.
even 25 yards. It's
Right.
right off the trail.
Yeah, there's a pump right there. Now there could be a line for the pump of other of hikers out there, and you may have to ask, hey, do you mind? I'm in a race, but or just get into that bathroom and turn on the faucet. But yeah, they're very good at taking.
Actually, I don't know if the faucet water is potable, but I know definitely the pump is.
The pump is.
Yeah, the bathroom water I can't guarantee, but pump water we've drank.
Yeah, and by the way, maybe we said this in the athlete's guide, but it's amazing as the race goes on. And this is particularly nice for the later finishers. Is everybody becomes aware that there's a race going on. There's hundreds of hikers on that trail, and you're going to get a lot of encouragement, more than maybe more than an Ironman. So we'll see. What would be the process of changing a porter at this point, Kathleen?
You just need to let Lori know, and then and actually that person can just register as well. And that way we need waivers signed for porters, and then of course their cell phone number and their name. So you can follow the link that's in the very beginning of this chat, and just have them sign up. And then if you let Lori know, then she'll make sure to remove the porter that is no longer portering you. And that way we're not confused on packet pickup.
Okay. Steve needs to leave a car at Knight's Pond. You can park anywhere in that parking lot. What I ask you do before, ahead of time, is just take a piece of paper, write on a piece of paper, I'm part of the triathlon, and put it on the dashboard. And we'll tell Rosalie that our people will leave that mark there. Hopefully not for multiple days. I don't think she'd go for that.
No,
So,
she
yeah.
would not go for that.
All right. Bike pictures, bit of explanation for those who may not be aware of that. In 2020, it was suggested to us that we do not go with bibs or bike numbers on the bikes, because the authorities just didn't want to deal with people calling them up and saying, did you know there's a bike race going on in the middle of a pandemic? So we ask everybody to give us a picture of their bike, and we actually use that for officiating. Not needed this year. The wetsuit number is 78, right?
Mhm,
You're asking.
78.
Yeah, 78 degrees. So and I have at 3 a.m. dove down as deep as I could into the waters to try to get a decent number for you guys. So I'll do my best. Do porters get a Mount Washington auto road pass or special access, or they pay as a normal visitor? You pay as a normal visitor. You can buy them in advance to perhaps save some time. And also, depending where you stay, there's coupons all over the place for that. Maybe stop at the visitor center as you enter into, I don't know, you're not really entering into New Hampshire because the race starts in Maine, but let's see. Could not get road lights to trigger in North Conway on my bike. I believe it's legal to go through a red light after a full stop. Yeah, this is an interesting problem in this day of so many intersections having the sensors for cars, but they don't think about bikes. I think we'll answer that in the same way that we mentioned about the other situation is we have to advise you to follow the rules of the road. You have to make your own decisions. You are not going to get penalized by us for anything other than drafting or blocking or, the USAT enforced penalties.
Right, right. Yeah, the next question is quite cute. I like Steve, I like that. You may not carry your porter up the mountain. Or excuse me,
No,
carry
porter
your
wants to carry
athlete.
the athlete.
Yeah, carry your athlete up the mountain.
Are porters allowed in transition? Yes, they are. But when the race starts, please, porters, be very aware and try to stay out of the way of the rushing athletes. Steve plans to hike down. That has been done. He won't be the first, but
Yeah, let Andy know, because Andy, well, and Scott and all will be at the top. If you're gonna turn around and come down after you got, after your athlete made it up to the summit, let somebody up there know, and you might even give them cell phone number. That way we just know that, okay, we know that we've got somebody coming back down that's gonna take a little bit, and then we won't worry about you when you don't show up. If you don't show up right away, that that you're actually climbing down.
okay. The next one speaks for itself. I use Gatorade Endurance in my pack bladder. Can my porter attest to the calorie content?
Nope. I need numbers.
Yeah, throw something in there for that sprained ankle example that I was telling you about, because it can happen, and suddenly you're not getting that chicken, that turkey dinner for quite a while because you've got to work your way down the mountain. You want to make sure you have enough to get through, and suddenly the Gatorade Endurance just isn't going to work anymore when you're not racing. All right, water's not potable in the bathroom, so it's the pump. Where's the place to get the water? No, the auto road doesn't get full. They are a money-making operation, and they will keep putting cars up there.
Yeah, and Jeff, you get one bike number.
You have to transfer that bike number. That's the rule that we've done with others, and that's a whole nother interesting conversation, which I won't weigh in on here because we've kept you long enough as to whether or not you should switch to a lighter bike for the going up that final 8-mile hill climb or not. I've had some conversations with athletes who have investigated gravel routes to perhaps cut some time off the bike. And if you put a gravel bike in your car, it's fine with me, as long as it doesn't have a motor in it.
Right, and you stay off 16, you stay off Route 4.
3 bike length draft is correct. Yes, you can use 2 bikes. You just have to switch the number from one bike to the other. I think that's, if it's not in the athlete's guide, it's on the website among all the various notations that we have on the race details page. And some people have done it. And how much of a difference it makes, I guess it depends where you are and what your objectives and goals are, and whether or not you feel it's going to help you. Scott, did you use a road bike for the hill climb when you raced?
No, I was on my standard triathlon TT bike the whole time.
Yeah. Okay. And I think we're out of questions.
3 bike lengths for a draft zone. Yes, correct.
All the
Okay.
USAT positioning bike rules.
Okay, yeah. I actually heard a rumor, but I don't think that it's happened yet, that they were changing the bike lengths to more. It might have been 4 or so, but not right now. It's 3, so that's what we're sticking with. Okay, does anyone have any other questions that we can answer? All right, well,
All right.
then let's let you guys go.
Yeah, I hope everybody's been tapering and get plenty of rest. And we'll see you, most of you, on Friday.
That's right. So we'll see you then. Thank you guys. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.